We discovered that there were secrets that your body was trying to tell you that could really help you optimize performance. But no one could monitor those things. And that's when we set out to build the technology that we thought could really change the world.
Welcome to the Whoop Podcast. I'm your host, Will Ahmed, founder and CEO of Whoop, where we are on a mission to unlock human performance. At Whoop, our clients range from the best professional athletes in the world to Navy SEALs to fitness enthusiasts to Fortune 500 CEOs and executives. The common thread among Whoop members is a passion to improve. What does it take to optimize performance for athletes, for humans, really anyone? And now that we've just launched the all-new Whoop Strap 3.0 featuring Whoop Live, which takes real-time training and recovery analysis to the next level, you're going to hear how many of these users are optimizing their body with Whoop and with other things in their life. On this podcast, we dig deeper, we interview experts, we interview industry leaders across sports, data, technology, physiology, athletic achievement, you name it. How can you use data to improve your body? What should you change about your life? My hope is that you'll leave these conversations with some new ideas and a greater passion for performance. With that in mind, I welcome you to the Whoop Podcast.
So I played for a coach who didn't have shoot-around. The whole premise was to sleep more, especially when you're a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. It can get funky because your shoot-around time is going to be at 10 to 7 a.m. So we never had shoot-around that the whole year. It was optional. So players who needed the extra work, maybe didn't get the same game minutes as others, they could go use the court time, totally optional. And yeah, I found that I felt amazing that whole year.
What's up, folks? We have a good one today. My guest is Sue Bird, one of the most successful basketball players to ever step on the court. Dating back to her high school state championship, she has won on every level. She's a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, a 4-time world champion, a 3-time WNBA champion, a 5-time EuroLeague champion, and a 2-time NCAA title winner at UConn. In fact, her record at UConn was 114-4. That's winning. Sue is also a Whoop member who's been on the product for close to 3 years now. So this has been a long time coming to get to spend time with Sue. And we talk about how she's embraced new technology and adapted her mindset to allow her to continue competing as the oldest player in the WNBA. The winning attitude she's had since childhood and how she's been able to bounce back from multiple knee injuries, and why she'd like to see the U.S. women's national team play against celebrities at the NBA All-Star Game. That was a fun one. There's a lot here. Sue is an amazing guest and a real pleasure to talk to. I think you're going to find this conversation very insightful. Before I introduce Sue, this month Whoop has teamed up with Joe Rogan and fellow comedians Bert Kreischer, Ari Schaefer, and Tom Segura for Sober October to see how sobriety impacts sleep, recovery, and overall wellness. That's right, they're going 31 days cold turkey, no booze, no bud, no drugs, all powered by Whoop. I'm going sober. You can join me and this wild crew. And as part of our community, you'll get a live look at their progress via the Whoop leaderboard, and you'll have a chance to join Team Sober October to monitor your own sobriety and impact. So check out the show notes to learn more or visit soberoctober.whoop.com. And make sure to listen to their podcast to hear all about their data and experiences getting sober with Whoop. And now here's Sue.
Sue, welcome to the Whoop Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's really cool getting to spend time with you because I think it was 2 or 2.5 years ago that I discovered that you were on Whoop, and you had thrust your arm up at a big sports conference.
Yeah.
And I all of a sudden got all these text messages because you said something very flattering about the product and how it helped you think about your body. For you, what does it mean today to still be playing basketball and still competing at a really high level?
Good question. I think for me right now, it's a testament to being willing to change and, that longevity aspect of it for me personally. And I think it's safe to say for a lot of older players, those that at the end of their career, you have to be willing to change, which is not easy for athletes. We kind of get stuck in like what always worked for us.
Right.
So you have to kind of have an open mind, and I'm lucky to have people around me who help me do that. But I think that's what playing right now actually means. It's that willingness to be open-minded.
And what sorts of things come to mind for you in terms of being open-minded?
Probably nutrition sticks out as one.
So there's been a shift for you there.
Yeah, there's been a shift. And it wasn't that I was like eating like crap all the time or anything.
Right.
It was just, the way I like to explain it to people who may not know is, as an athlete, you're just constantly fueling for the workout and then refueling afterwards. And then it's just this cycle. So it's like, it's not, yes, it is what you eat, but it's more so when and why. So that part, I had to learn a lot about that. I wasn't doing that part. I was actually under eating. When I first met with a nutritionist, I was under eating by like 1,000 calories. I just had no idea.
And is that something that's more common in women's sports versus men's sports, or it's just
No, I think it's just
random?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just like a random thing. I think I thought I love breakfast, so that was never an issue, and lunch was kind of like, oh, if I get to it, and then dinner was a must. So I was like skipping this meal a lot, and it wasn't that. I just never viewed it as fuel. I just kind of went about my day.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, stupid.
Well, okay, so nutrition you've gotten more focused on.
Mm-hmm.
How about things related to recovery?
Yeah, so like my workout regimen is very much you want to push it to a certain limit, but not overdo it. So it's finding that balance connected to recovery and like what works for you. For me personally, it's very much predicated on my sleep, which I've come to find out. Things like Normatec and, using the Hypervolt gun and all that. Those are great. And yes, it can all like facilitate. But for me, if I don't have my sleep, it won't matter.
So you're a big sleeper.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be.
So before Whoop came into your life, what were
Mhm.
you doing around sleep?
Sleeping.
well, yeah.
I wasn't.
So you would go to
Sleep
bed.
was never a problem for me.
So did you have any concept, though, of what was good or bad for sleep?
No.
You just knew it was important.
Yeah, I knew I liked it. Like I knew my body knew. It was weird. On like game day, I'm like clockwork. Like when I take a nap, like my body just knows like, okay, you need a little bit more.
Oh, interesting.
As I've gotten older, that's changed a little bit, but sleep has never been a problem for me. So I guess when I don't get good sleep, I notice it. And that was kind of that was before Whoop. That was like, I knew. I was like, oh, when I don't sleep well, I don't feel well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And for you, like, I mean, you've had this incredible career. Like, you've literally won at every single level. You were on a college team that only lost 4 games.
Something
pretty
like that,
absurd.
yeah.
What is it about winning for you? Like, is that something that you kind of always had programmed in, or is it just the constant pursuit? Like, what is it?
No, I think in some ways it's always been programmed in. I think growing up, I mean, there's stories in my family of me like cheating at every like Candyland, like you name it, I was cheating at it. And I think when you're younger, you don't know how to.
Right.
You're just trying so hard to like have it end up go your way that you cheat and you do things to
Yeah.
or you're a sore loser. I was a
You're a sore
big
loser.
time sore loser growing up. That was something I had to learn how to deal with. Classic story is a track meet, like 4x1. I don't know. I'm probably like 7. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I'm like the 4th leg, and it's they round the corner, and I turn back to look to get the baton, and when I look back, I see that like everybody else has already passed, and my teammates so we were dead last. I took the baton, threw it on the floor, walked off. I was like, why am I even finishing this? We're last.
Oh, wow.
So obviously I had to, not cheat and then also learn how to deal with losing. And but at the end of the day, I think it was just kind of in me from day one. And I just always was trying to win.
Now, at each level, did you know you wanted to get to the next level? Like when you were in high school, were you like, I'm going to be the best in college? When you were in college, you're like, I'm going to be the best professionally? Was it not that thought out?
No, not for me. I think, to be the best, I don't know that those kinds of thoughts really crossed my mind. It was more like what I have found for me in my career. It's more like, what can I do to help us win? And usually that's being the best version of yourself. But for me, and it's totally played out this way. Like I'm a point guard. I'm definitely pass first. I'm definitely a leader. I'm like a corraller, if you will. Like that's definitely my role on almost every single team I've been on. When I'm out there, my goal is to make it easy for everybody else. And I found that like if I'm the best version of myself in that, and then my teammates are then able to be their best versions, we're probably like good things are probably going to happen. And so that's really what I focus on. I don't focus on like, oh, I'm trying to get MVP or I want to be WNBA first team. I've literally never thought those things.
You strike me as someone who's very process oriented. You know,
it helps, yeah. I make a lot of lists.
Yeah. So because there's, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of successful people and a lot of athletes, and I feel like there's sort of two camps of how people think about winning.
Mm-hmm.
One camp is it's sort of like the score takes care of itself. You know that book by Bill Walsh,
Mm-hmm.
the famous 49ers coach, and he's, you know, he had this philosophy that the score takes care of itself. It's not actually about focusing on the score. It's about focusing on all these little details that lead up to ultimately the outcome.
Right.
And if you just do all these little things well,
It'll work out for you.
yeah, the outcome happens. And then there's a second group, which I almost think of as like it's sort of a visionary point of view, which is this visualization of I'm going to be this best person 10 years down the road or 15 years down the road or whatever. And that to me is also pretty incredible. It seems like those people have pretty maniacal parents too. Like if you listen to like Andre Agassi or Tiger
Yeah, I read his
Woods
book,
or
yeah.
right, like there was something programmed there that was a little different, but it was also looking further out.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of that resonate for you?
The process part does, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. There's definitely an aspect of like, I get my confidence from knowing, and well, actually, I get my confidence from knowing that I've like checked off the boxes
Totally.
that I need to check off to play well. Now, it's not always easy to figure out what those boxes are, and they change as you go through your career. But for the most part, you know, it's funny. I have a strength coach, and I joke with her. It's like, I don't even need to be on the basketball court all that much. Like at this point, like I know how to shoot. Don't get me wrong, you got to be in rhythm.
Totally.
But I know how to pass. I know how to shoot. I know like, you know, the game of basketball inside and out. I just need to make sure my body is ready to go.
I love
like
that.
that's
Yeah.
the vehicle for all that other stuff. Like that other stuff doesn't matter. So as I go through, currently I'm going through a rehab, and as I go through it, it's like the basketball part. I mean, yeah, at the end, I obviously have to get on the court at some point and do basketball-like things, but none of it will matter unless I check off all these other boxes.
Yeah, that's a very Whoop mindset too, is this idea of just like making sure that your body is optimal for the moment, less so than all these other things related to it.
And sometimes I find that, you know, you can trick yourself in a way, right? Like, an example, the way it would go is like, last year it was the finals. We were in the WNBA finals. We go on to win, but
Yeah,
I got to admit,
congratulations.
thanks. I got to admit, when we got to that final series, like I was not well. Like it was a lot of games in a short period
Your
of
body was
time.
run down.
Yeah, my body was struggle bus. But like I still just like
Struggle bus, I like that.
kept the routine going. And even though, I mean, I felt like crap, I was able to almost like trick myself. Because that's, again, like I said, where I get my confidence from. I was like, nope, you did all these things, you'll be fine. You know, like you'll be fine.
So let's talk about some of those things. So when you were in the finals,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
I mean, I take the first step and I'm like, what's today going to be like? And if the
in
first
terms
step
of feeling,
goes well,
in terms of feeling how your body is.
Yeah, exactly. Because my Achilles heel, if you will, is my left knee. So I have like crazy arthritis. I've had 6 surgeries on it, like mostly major surgeries. And so that, like, generally speaking, the rest of my body, it's okay. Especially I'm about to be 39 in like a month. Like, I'm doing all right. The rest of my body. That knee, though, that knee's like 105.
Yeah.
So that first step is the knee. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I get it. And by the way, you look very young.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I don't know.
like you look like you're in your 20s.
I joke. I played in Russia for like 10 years. I play in Seattle in the summer. There's my face is not getting sunlight. It's just not.
You think that's
I think that's a
secret?
part of it. Yeah, because my girlfriend Megan plays soccer, and
Yeah, right.
she's had like crazy. Oh man, I'm putting her on blast right now.
yeah,
She
here
actually
we
takes
go.
care of her skin. She does a great job, but she has crazy sun damage, and it's just
Because
a
she's out in
constant-
the sun all
yeah,
the time.
it's like a constant exposure. No matter how much sunscreen, it's gonna sweat off.
Does she wear sunblock during the games?
She wears. I mean, she has a whole procedure.
routine.
Yeah,
Yeah, a whole routine.
There's a whole situation happening. To just even like counteract. Whereas for me, I'm like seeking the sun. I'm like, where is it?
Yeah, right.
I
'cause
want
you're
it.
never out
Like,
there.
get me out in it. Yeah.
Okay, so you get out of bed and you take one
Yeah,
step.
yeah.
You double click on your knee.
Right. And if that's not feeling great, there isn't much that I change. I just know that, okay, today I might need to give like it some extra love. So
Yeah.
maybe sometimes I have a Normatec in my house. It might be that. It's just kind of like whatever I'm feeling. I might need to foam roll a little extra more, like that kind of stuff.
And will you do that literally right after getting out of bed?
No, I mean,
So you'll
no,
take
it'll
a
come a little bit
shower.
later. Yeah, it's more like I'm thinking more like, all right, I just got to the gym. We have practice.
Okay,
What do
okay.
I need to do to get ready for practice? Or you know what? Some days I will be like, raise my hand. And I'm like, I can't go today. It'll just be better for me not to go today.
Good for you.
Yeah, that took a while. That takes a long
But see,
time.
that strikes me as the kind of maturity that you probably build up to over time.
Yes, and there's a trust element. If you're talking about a team's practice, there has to be trust there with you and the coach and with the team and with your teammates. So when my team looks over and they see me sitting on the side, or maybe I'm just on the bike pedaling, they're like, okay, like she couldn't go today.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, slacker, you know?
Now, how much though of that do you think you have to earn?
Probably all of it.
Yeah, because what's hard about being, I don't know, a year or two into the league is you haven't necessarily proven yourself on that level.
Yeah.
You could, have the reputation of being that rookie who's going out a little too much or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's actually, you recognize how culturally that's tough too.
It can be, yeah. I mean, and then I guess like when you're 20, if you're a 21, 22-year-old rookie, like, do you need to sit out practice? Like,
So your argument would be you probably don't need to
You
sit
probably,
out.
yeah, you're physically, I mean, don't be wrong, there's injuries that
Sure,
happen,
sure,
but I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
talking about injury. I'm talking just about
General
maybe,
management.
Yeah, like the day before, maybe I went a little too hard, or, I mean, there's been, sadly, so last year, health-wise, I had a pretty good year. Like, it went well, but there were still 3 games, I think, where I woke up the morning of the game and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to go.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, like one of them was kind of more of I got like hit the game before and my back kind of spasmed. So that was different. That's like I woke up, I was literally like, like robotic. Like my
Yeah.
back had spasm, and it's, sometimes that takes,
Yeah, that's tough.
it's gotta run its course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other 2 games were my knee. It was like, ooh, something feels weird. And I found with my knee in particular, obviously it's very special to me, sometimes it just gets a little pissed off.
Like
And
it's a little inflamed. Or
Yeah.
you just feel it.
Yeah, you just feel it. And the best thing for me is to just shut it down for a
Rest.
day, and then I'll be fine. But if I try to go through that day, it could linger for a week.
Well, this is why you're still playing at such an elite level.
I mean, you have to
I
have such
think.
a relationship with your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
You
go
have
back to the routine for a second.
Okay.
So you wake up in the morning. You talked about being someone who makes a lot of lists.
Yeah.
Is that something you're looking at in the morning or what?
It just depends. The lists are more like, my grocery store list or
So
but
just
for
general
that
management
day,
of your life.
Yeah. So like today, I actually had an appearance that I had to go to this morning.
Okay.
And then after that, I had, I'm still doing some rehabby physical therapy things.
Sure.
So I just hit that up. We're doing this podcast, and then
Right.
I have my actual workout after. So this morning,
So that's like your calendar.
yeah. So this morning, I just kind of sat down. I was like, what
Checklist.
clothing am I going to need?
Okay.
Like,
Kind of plan the day.
Yeah, like, should I make my protein shake now? This is going to make me sound insane, but, should I make this protein shake now? Or should I, like, right before I go work out, go get it? This way it's waiting for me. When am I going to eat lunch? I like to be, as it pertains to getting my workouts in, I'm not necessarily as regimented if I'm just like, I wake up that day and I just have stuff to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'll figure that out as we go. But, like, I need my workouts, that stuff, I need to have, like, my ducks in a row. Or else I feel, like, stressed about it.
So now that you're eating the right amount of calories, are
Yeah.
you someone who tries to eat breakfast close to waking up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hungry, like, immediately. Like I said, breakfast is, like, my favorite meal by far. So I generally wake up, do your morning routine, whatever that might be, brush your teeth, yada, yada. And then, it's like coffee and breakfast almost right away.
Are you someone who does any type of meditation or visualizing?
Yeah, I
things
use
like that?
Headspace, the Headspace app.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Andy Puddicombe has been on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I use that.
And you do it every day?
So, no. When I was in season, I tried to do it every day, and I was pretty close.
And when you're meditating, do you picture yourself in the third person or the first person?
Oh, first.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like seeing things. I don't see my
Yeah,
body or
yeah,
anything.
yeah. I actually do it in the third.
Oh, interesting.
But it seems
You're
to
like
be kind of
bopping around in there?
Yeah, I'm like looking down on myself. It's very like
Oh,
yeah.
no, I'm first person.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Uh
I never even thought of it the other way.
yeah.
You probably
well,
never thought of it the other way.
Yeah, I've realized that asking people that it's different.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And how much of it ends up being about basketball or exercise or sports versus
No.
just clearing your mind?
Yeah, I think it's just clearing my mind. To be honest, I don't know what this says. I fall asleep like 85% of the time.
Really?
Yep. And I know it.
And you do it in the morning?
No, it varies.
Okay.
That's
so
the
you-
one thing I don't do is I don't do it the same time every time.
got
Because
it.
like my schedule is kind of, I know you're supposed to.
I think it's
I'm like
better.
telling on myself.
I think it's better if you do it in the morning, like right after you wake up,
Uh-huh.
because I find you're less likely to fall back asleep then.
Yeah, that's true.
So I did transcendental meditation, and you're supposed to do it twice a day. I almost never do it twice a day. I always
Okay.
do it once a day. But when you do it the second time in the afternoon, I
Mhm.
find that's where it's easier to
gets-
fall asleep.
Yeah. And I know.
And
you're
I bet if
supposed to
you
be
do it
like-
after a workout or something, like
yeah, it's just easy
around
to
nap
like,
time.
It's the voice. It's so soothing.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's got the voice
He
too.
does have the voice.
Okay, so you've eaten breakfast.
Yeah.
And now at some point you have to go to the arena?
Yeah. But like, I will set my alarm early to have some chill morning time. My chill
Okay,
morning
so that's
time is
interesting.
like, yeah. So I mean, it would be easy for me to meditate at that point, but I like to like catch up on my ESPN Sports Center.
So you'll watch SportsCenter?
Yeah. I watch Get Up. My cousin's a producer on it, so.
Oh, that's
you know.
cool.
Well, it's actually my cousin's husband, but yeah. But regardless, I think that would be
Do you
my
like seeing
choice.
yourself on SportsCenter, or are you totally over it?
I mean, I don't mind it. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
A little da-na-na means I
Yeah.
did something right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it means I did
Hopefully.
something right.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I catch up on my sports. I like to just kick it in the morning. I like to have like at least an hour, seriously. So I will set my alarm early to make sure I get like some chill
What time
time.
you typically waking up?
It totally varies on like the rest of my day.
Totally.
But I don't know.
So say you have a game at 7 p.m.
Yeah, so if we have a game at 7 p.m., that means we probably have shoot around 11. So I'll set my alarm at like 8:30. This gives me time to like get up, coffee, breakfast, sit, and then.
Do you think
do-
shoot-around's a good thing? Like, I know you've done it for a very long
Yeah.
time.
So
But it's putting additional strain on your body.
I know. So
And if you're someone who's run down, Sue,
yeah, it's really the sleep part. So
yeah.
I've actually played for pretty much every coach I've ever played for has always done shoot around. And then we had a coach, her name
It's
was
a
Jenny
staple.
Boussac.
It
Yeah,
seems like
it's
a
like I
staple
know,
in
and it's
basketball.
like find out why they invented it. It's gonna drive you insane. It's literally like the Lakers when like Wilt Chamberlain was on the team, and we googled this. Me and some of my other teammates, and they literally had shoot around so Wilt wouldn't go out all night.
Yeah, right.
And you're like,
it's
wait,
a-
why am I doing this
it's
in
a party
2019?
prevention tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways, but yeah, coaches now it's become part of their routine. They're checking a box. So, anyways, so I played for a coach who didn't have shoot around, and the whole premise was to sleep more, especially when you're a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. It can get funky because your shoot around time is going to be at 10,
Yeah.
which is 7 a.m. So it's it's
Yeah,
tough.
that's not good.
Yeah. So we never had shoot around out the whole year. It was optional.
Oh, wow.
So players who needed the extra work, maybe didn't get the same game minutes as others, they could go use the court time. Totally optional. And yeah, I found that I felt amazing that whole year.
Not having shoot-around.
Not having shoot around. Yeah. The other thing she did though was, in fairness, it was the combination. We didn't have any early morning flights. So we fly commercial.
Smart.
Yeah, no early morning flights. And a lot of people are like, no, don't you want to just like get back home? And I'm like, no. What's the point of getting home at 9 a.m. if I feel like crap
Yeah,
in the
totally.
entire day?
You're
Yeah,
a
it was.
professional athlete.
Yeah, it was such a difference because I had played for every other coach I played for was always had shoot around. We're always on some early morning flight, and it really adds up. And I didn't realize it until that was all changed. But anyways, so now I play for a coach who we do have shoot around, but when we travel to the East Coast, he's way more lenient about it. Like, especially if it's like an earlier game, like he's not going to get us up, or maybe if we're on some sort of road trip, he's not going to make us, he might change it. And I think that might be where it's at. Like, there is something
So it's more
about the
variable.
game planning part.
Okay, so
that-
like a
that
little
I
strategy
think-
session.
Yeah, I think it helps to get people up, not like up from bed, but just like to get them out of their house.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's the thing the trap you can fall into without shoot around. Just waiting all day
Yeah,
for the
that's
game.
true.
Some people just sit there. And I don't think that's actually good. I think you can like get really stale doing that. So I think there is a happy medium. Like if I were a coach, I would, based on schedule, have the shoot arounds if it was like, if it made sense from like a sleep standpoint. and I wouldn't have, and shoot around would never be straight. Like there'd be no strain. It would be, I don't even care about the shooting. They call it shoot around. I don't know why. It's just game planning.
So literally you're just all standing around on court talking a little bit. There's some
No,
stretching.
you do shoot.
Okay, but
You do shoot.
No, but in your world.
In my world. Yeah. I think you get a good stretch in. Nothing wrong with that, right? Like wake your body up a little bit. Yeah, fire them up. Actually, the woman I work with calls it a firing session. So you fire yourself up, and then you do the game planning. Boom, 45 minutes. See you guys later.
I think I've got a future in coaching there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Haven't you been doing a little bit of coaching with the NBA as well?
More front office.
Okay.
Yeah, so more like.
It's like evaluating players.
Yeah.
Do you like that side of it? Or does it kind of freak you out talking about athletes that way too?
No, it doesn't freak me out. It's fun. It's fascinating because it's a puzzle. You know, it's not just if it was easy as this guy's talented.
Good or
yeah.
not?
It's like how much does he make?
How does the person
it fit? Yeah.
How does the person fit?
Oh yeah, that too. Personality wise, yeah. It's a lot of moving parts.
Okay, so back to the day in the life of Sue Bird on game day. You do a shoot around at say 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, and for you, like, let's say you wake up and Whoop says you didn't get a lot of sleep and you've got a lower recovery than you'd like.
Yeah.
Like, how does that change what you're doing at shoot around?
It doesn't really change much because we don't really do much.
Okay, so that's not a big deal for shoot around.
Yeah, no.
How does it change your
rest of
mindset
the day.
leading up to the game?
It can be, so that's the one thing with Whoop the biggest adjustment for me for Whoop was when does the information become like a little bit of a mind game?
Like affects you psychologically.
Yeah. So you have to like work through that. Yeah. And it was just, I don't know, I just don't think about it as much anymore. It's this tool that I like to have and use it, but simultaneously it doesn't need to, you don't want to get mental about it. It doesn't need to dictate. Right. And I don't know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know that there's much at that point. Like I nap every day, every game day. Okay,
so you nap. That definitely helps reset your body.
Or I'll coffee nap if I don't know if you know.
Describe a coffee nap for our audience.
For that doesn't know, yeah. So coffee naps are good because you can like squeeze them in. Yeah. And basically, this is going to be in like total layman terms, so just work with me here. Yeah. A nap like clears your brain, if you will, of all the like sleepy stuff. Yeah. And then so what you do is you drink a cup of coffee. And that usually takes like 20 to 30 minutes for the caffeine to kick in. And so you drink it, you try to, and in my experience, because people are always like, how do you just fall asleep? No, it's not like a magic snap of the fingers. But if you like put your phone away, you turn the lights out, you get in a dark room, I would say 90% of the time fall asleep. Right. Yeah, I have a high success rate with that. So yeah, drink the coffee, shut it down, close your eyes. You will fall asleep. You set your alarm for 20, 30 minutes, whatever works for you. When the alarm goes off, the whole premise is that the sleep has cleared your brain, if you will. All the sleepy stuff's gone. The receptors are ready to go. And then the caffeine kicks in and boom. Boom. It sets you off. And boom. It's not, yeah, boom. And then it blocks all the like sleepy stuff in there. So it's not like you get this crazy jolt of energy where you're like, blah, I'm here, you know, up and at 'em. Right. But there's like a longer lasting impact or effect of it. And I find that like, you know, usually you might get like a little bit of a lull later in the day. I don't get the lull. It just doesn't happen. But it's also a good way to get like a nice little nap, a power nap in a short period of time. Yeah. If you don't have like 2 hours.
If your game is at 7, what time will you try to do a nap like that? And will you do a coffee nap on a game day?
Yeah. So usually when I do the coffee nap is, okay, follow me here. So if we don't have shoot around, I've probably gotten up a little bit later. Right. So
because you had your Sports Center time and you're chilling.
Yeah. But I don't even need to set my alarm on those days. So I'll like let myself sleep to whatever. Because I literally have all day.
Which is nice.
So because I've gotten up later, I don't feel the need for like a 2-hour nap. And I know this is like, my family always makes fun of me. They're like, you nap for a living. This is like, I'm like, yeah, I'm punching the clock. Like this is important.
Job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I get it. A 2-hour nap is insane for people who have maybe a 9-to-5 or if they have kids, it's like nuts. But for an athlete on a game day, especially, a 2-hour nap is like fairly normal. But if
it's definitely becoming more common. Let's put it that way. Like there's been a massive cultural shift around sleep.
Totally. I'm here for
and
it.
You're
I'm
leading
here for
the
every
charge
second
too.
of it. But yeah, so if I got up at like 9:30 that day or 10 even, I don't need a 2-hour nap.
But you make coffee.
But I will coffee nap. And I'll try to do that like right before I'm going to go to the gym. So if the game's at 7, let's say I'm like in my car at 5, I'll probably do it like somewhere in the 4s, right? Like 4:15.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. I will already have showered. I will literally just need to get up, put my clothes on, and go.
So it's almost like the pregame for going out the door.
Yeah. Well, I always have coffee right before games.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like 3 hours or so before a game.
So
Maybe even less.
So you'll have coffee 3 hours before.
Maybe even less, actually. Like now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably like in the 2.5.
2.5
I know,
hours.
2.5, 3. What's the difference? But there's
No,
a
I mean, it
difference.
starts to matter, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting about that is it strikes me as like you're not actually feeling a caffeine high. That's more of just, hey, this is getting you to a certain place that you're always at.
Yeah.
It's pretty even keel.
Mhm.
Because other
Yeah,
athletes
you're
I'll
not
talk
jittery
to,
or anything. I'm not anyway.
yeah, other athletes I'll talk to will literally take, pretty serious amounts of caffeine before every game.
Mhm.
But what we have to work through with them is the sleep side of it.
Yeah.
Because if you take heavy caffeine at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
and then you're performing in front of, 20, 40,000 screaming
Yeah.
fans, right? It's
I know,
hard to
good
fall
luck
asleep
sleeping.
before
I know.
midnight.
I know. The adrenaline, all of it.
Yeah.
No, it is hard. Game nights are the hardest for sure to fall asleep.
So, okay, so you've done your coffee nap. You go to the stadium.
Yep.
What then?
So I've had my coffee. I've gotten over there, and then I have like a typical routine of like warming up, like some
Certain stretching.
certain
shooting.
stretching,
How
certain
long?
like activation.
How long does that take?
Not long. It actually doesn't take me that long. Like I said, if the game's at 7, I'll be in my car by like 5. Get there, put my stuff on by like, and I'm trying to remember, by 5:30-ish. We're all out on the court, and we kind of have like a team thing.
Yeah.
And with that is stretching, some activation, like a active warm up, not just static stuff. And then you kind of start to add the ball to it, doing some ball handling, getting some shots up. From there, I go and stretch a little bit more. I do like my foam rolling routine. I get the lacrosse ball out, all that stuff.
Yep.
And then at that point, I have like a 20-minute just like moment. And that's actually when I use a supplement called Vitargo, which is like a fast-acting carb.
Cool.
Yeah. So
We'll put that in the show notes.
Oh yeah, Vitargo's bomb. So take some of that, and because
It's
that's
a powder or something? Or?
yeah, you like shake it up. Yeah, it's basically carb. It's a carbohydrate,
Okay.
and it's just a way of getting that carb without having to eat it.
And how
Because
long?
that can make you feel full.
Right. And how
Yeah.
long has it been since you've been doing that?
Probably like 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it's my
Loyal
little,
customer.
My little secret.
Yeah.
No, but it's great. I have that pregame, and then I have it at halftime also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, it's
So-
how much you can take without feeling full.
Do you think that's in part how you got away with the less calories thing?
I don't know. Maybe. I only do it on game day. You can do it. You can feel your workout like every day. I personally find that I only need it on game days. And if I'm having if I'm in national team training camp, I'll do it every day.
Oh, interesting.
But for the most part, my workouts aren't like crazy hard. Like they're usually just like a slow build, so I don't necessarily need it.
What are the tricks to preparing a knee that, in your words, is 105 years old?
Yeah. She needs to be warm. She needs
Okay.
to be very warm. There's not like a trick. I'm trying to think. Like I don't use any like Chinese medicine stuff or like
Do you put any creams on it? or
no
anything like that?
creams.
So a lot of it's just getting it warm,
Yeah, like you have to find out what works for you.
rolling.
Yeah, I do know for a fact that. See, this is also part of the checklist. If I keep my quad strong, then that's going to take the
Strength.
brunt. Yeah, strength for me is key. So there will be even times where like if I'm feeling a little creaky, I'm like, all right, I need to do some extra. And I do all my workouts, I would say a large percentage of them are just body weight. So, or I use cuffs now, the BFR stuff. So
What's that?
BFR?
Yeah.
Blood flow restriction?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
very in right now.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Especially for someone like me who like where pounding is going to impact.
Oh, interesting.
Like I said, I just have a very arthritic knee. So any type of pounding I need to limit.
So you'll do blood flow restriction around like your quad, for example.
Oh yeah. You put it on both your quads,
And
or
then
like
do
around
squats
both
or
your
something?
legs. Yeah, I mean,
Lunges, all that sort of thing.
again, like I mentioned earlier, like I have like a team of people that help me,
Yeah.
be who I am on the court. And the best part is I don't have to think.
So they
They
run
map
your
it out
show.
for me. Yeah, like I could show you my workout right now. It's literally like it's like basically just told telling me what to do.
And when you do a workout like that, are you doing it with someone or often alone?
Often alone. Yeah, because the people.
That's more disciplined.
Yeah, it can be tough. It depends. Every now and then I'll have people with me, but often alone.
Let's go back to the blood restriction for a second.
Yeah, sure.
So how long have you been doing that for?
For a year, a little over a year.
And what kind of differences have you noticed?
So this is unique to me. So my knee, not just old, it doesn't straighten all the way. It doesn't bend all the way.
Right.
It's really the straightening all the way that can be troublesome because I can't get all my muscle. I don't have that extension that like you're going to finish, when you flex your quad, I can't like get it all the way there. So that it's harder for me to build muscle. It's just the reality. And what I found with the BFR stuff is not only can you do less and still get similar results, it actually gives me like I have no other word I could think of, like girth. Like I'm going to get stronger. You might not be able to see it, but it's going to build in there.
Describe quickly what the setup looks like for our listener.
It literally, the ones I use, and there's all kinds of different.
The one you use.
It literally looks like you're going to take your blood pressure.
Yeah.
So you strap it on, and like I said, it goes around like very close to like up your thigh. It's like very close to your groin, I guess. And you clip it in just like you would if a doctor is taking your blood pressure and get to pumping. And it's all measured, right? Like they measure your leg before you get the cuffs. And then you're able to, based on like, I think it's like based on your pulse, they kind of map it out. And then like how much you have to pump it. So it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole production.
Yeah.
And the thinking being that by restricting the blood flow, you're putting more.
I actually don't even know, but I can tell you it works.
Yeah, you're putting more pressure on your muscles without having to put the same amount of weight on your muscles, right?
Boom.
That's
the idea.
the thinking. So it sounds like that works.
Yeah, you can use them for recovery as well. I actually got a cloth pair. Cloth meaning like and I swim with them on sometimes.
Interesting, you swim.
Yeah, that was my doctor's idea. Our team doctor, he was like, "Why don't you just try the cuffs in the pool?" And we were all like, "Oh, good idea."
That's smart. Yeah.
So it's just like a random brand offline. The blood pressure cuff, you wouldn't want to get those wet, so we had to like go find a different kind.
Got it.
They're basically just straps, to be honest, that you pull tight.
Okay, so stronger. Let's go back. You're now at the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's game time.
That's when the adrenaline kicks in.
Adrenaline kicks in. Has that ever diminished for you?
Yeah, it has.
I mean, you've been
insane.
competing at a really high level for a really long time,
Yeah,
or you've just been competing forever.
There's days. Everybody has days. I feel like this whole podcast is making me sound like an insane person, so I'm just going to add it to the list.
No, you sound totally reasonable.
Totally
reasonable.
I was like, oh my God, this girl's crazy.
No.
I have found that in the moments where, because the interesting thing about a basketball season is the games come quick. We play a lot of games in a short period of time, and it's like game. And it can be hard, like the lulls of the travel or the lulls of whatever. It can be hard to like get up for, regular season game number, 15. You're not quite at the start where you're still excited, but it's not the end either. And yeah, every game's important, but I found that I've had to like kind of create different like motivational kind of like, I don't know, like, oh, what if, I'm totally making this up, I'm trying to think of a good one. Oh, like what if the national team scouts are in the audience? Like how would you feel then?
I love that.
And I kind of like tell myself stories, and I find that like the adrenaline picks up, and adrenaline masks everything. So it is.
Wasn't that like 100% Michael Jordan's playbook?
I have no idea. Was it?
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, he would be like, this person said this about me.
Yeah, he would
like that,
just
right?
come up with these reasons to annihilate teams on like a Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's funny.
But it sounds similar to what you're describing, in that you're just finding these little motivations to keep pushing you.
Yeah, usually it's like, it comes in the form of like people watching, like, oh, what if your nieces were? I have 2 little nieces who are 6 and 4, And I'm like, what if my nieces were here? How would you want to play in front of them? And I find that I get a little more excited when I kind of think, I'm like, oh, this is I would feel this if they were here. And I try to like steal that.
Right.
And keep it.
And then, when the NBA Finals rolls around.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah. I mean, so this little like tactic or whatever, I really only have to use it like a handful of times. Usually there's enough. Because I understand the importance of each game. So usually there's enough. But I mean, there's not the saying fake it till you make it for a reason. Sometimes I think for me as an older player, I got to fake it a little bit at the start And then eventually my like, I don't know, my training
kinda
or whatever just
kicks
kind of
in.
takes over.
Your
Yeah, and
instincts.
it keeps me up.
Maybe, God forbid, someone goes past you and scores.
Yeah,
You
no,
tell
well, that's a
yourself.
different. I
you
mean,
tell
that happens a
yourself,
lot, sadly.
No. Okay, so game ends.
hmm
How do you end the day?
Yeah, game ends. Got my protein shake ready to go. Definitely trying to eat like as soon as possible, but obviously you have to shower. We don't. I like to go out to eat. It's kind of like a exhale. So shower, go to dinner, usually with my teammates or whoever's
Cool.
around. Yeah, and then just go home. I mean, when I was younger, this was a totally different answer, but now.
What would you do when you were younger?
I mean, I was just talking about this with some friends. It's like being an older player in a league is so fascinating because nobody's your age. And so your peer group has either retired or actually
Right.
retired.
Yeah,
like
like
they've all
literally they've all
retired. Yeah.
retired.
So it used to be like, ooh, who are we playing tonight? Oh, so-and-so and so-and-so are on this team. Hey guys, what are we doing tonight? You know?
Yeah,
And it
like
was
let's go hang out.
Yeah, now it's like I have friends in the league, don't get me wrong, but it's just it's not my peer group, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
It's not
get
the
it.
homies. So it's much easier to be like, what are you guys doing? And then be like, nah, I'll just get home.
Okay,
I'm
so
tired.
so you get home. Do you have any routine before going to bed?
No, I'm
Anything
definitely
about
like
your
a TV binge
bedroom?
watcher.
Any tricks to sleeping? You seem like a
No.
good sleeper.
Yeah, I can fall asleep like in seconds.
You're a 0-minute sleep
Oh
latency
yeah.
person.
Oh yeah, my latency is like yeah.
She points at her phone.
like it's Megan has a Whoop also. She's not nearly as disciplined, so it's kind of funny the difference in our usage. But yeah, my latency is like bam. I fall asleep in seconds.
Are the two of you on a team together?
No, we're not. No,
we
we're
should
not.
put we should
Yeah,
put you
be on
guys on a team together.
Yeah.
And then you can text each other before games and stuff. Hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
or,
worry.
hey,
I know
you're
the
in the
strain's high.
green.
Don't worry. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey.
So what's it like having a partner that's competing at the highest level too?
It's great.
It's got to be
Yeah.
refreshing,
It's
right?
nice. Yeah. You can talk about things that, each person has a true understanding of. You can vent. And it's nice to have somebody either be able to kind of commiserate with that vent or be like, hey, listen, you're acting ridiculous right now, And you trust that it's coming from a place of, I don't know, experience. We've both kind of
Totally.
experienced all of it. So it's great. And then, when I do work out with somebody, it's usually Megan.
That's
it's
cool,
nice to,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice. It really is. Our schedules hasn't allowed for it much this summer for obvious reasons. And I kind
Yeah.
of miss it. It's nice to have like a partner,
How'd you guys meet?
So she plays in Seattle also. Like the story goes, she plays in Seattle also. We're in the same agency, Wasserman.
Oh, nice.
But it really wasn't until we crossed paths at the Olympics in 2016 where we were like, we should be friends.
Yeah, right.
And then like the rest is history.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what was it like for you watching what the U.S. women's team did?
Yeah, it was incredible. I actually got to go for the final, so that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
was
saw
like-
some of the photos. It looked really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. That was like the one silver lining to being hurt this summer. It gave me the time to jet out there. So it was great. I mean, obviously couldn't be more proud, more impressed, just both from on the field play,
Yeah.
right? Like so much pressure. The team killed it. Megan killed it. And then, of course, off the field, just the way she's represented and carried herself. It's been a lot of fun.
No, it's been amazing. Now you've experienced that like moment of bliss of winning,
Yeah,
right?
it's nice.
Is that the drug for you that
It
keeps you
is.
coming back?
It is. It totally is because there's no other time. I've not found other things that, can make you feel the way that feels. It's funny because the sad part of it is, and there's the other thing you learn with experience. It's like, it's so hard to get there. You get there. It's this amazing feeling. It's like a rush. And it really only lasts like that night.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know, and
12 hours.
Yeah. And I always tell my younger teammates, I'm like, especially last year, it was like, you need to enjoy, or even Megan at the World Cup, like tonight is the night.
Tonight's the
Like make
night.
sure
Do it.
you
Yeah.
are like living it up because you try to recreate it the next night. And like, don't get me wrong, it's fun
Yeah.
and it lingers and it
Yeah, yeah,
lasts.
yeah.
But nothing is ever quite like the night you win.
That moment where you weren't sure you were gonna win and you had to push to
Just-
win. and
Yeah,
all
the
these
minute the
things.
sound, the buzzer sounds to probably like 4 a.m. or whatever. I know for us, we had to, last year in the WNBA finals, we played at Washington and we won. And I think our flight was like at 8 a.m. So the bus is like at 6. And it was literally like from whatever time to like 5:30. But there's really no it's just nothing like it. Like you're on cloud 9, everybody's happy, you're all celebrating. It's this amazing feeling. And again, you try to recreate like the next night, or, we had a parade in Seattle, which was wonderful. It's never like that night. Not in my experience anyways.
And do you think that's the thing that's driving you, that 15th game of the season, in the back of your mind at all?
No, I don't get too. I don't want to get.
I guess
too ahead of
you're
myself.
too process oriented.
Yeah,
we covered
I can't.
this. You're very process oriented.
That'll stress me out.
So seeing Megan win in that moment, did you feel like a tenth of the feeling or not?
I was more nervous.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. I don't feel nervous when I play.
But you were nervous watching her play.
Yeah, because I have no control.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, right.
Right? Like when you're a player, you have some control.
You're in the moment.
Yeah. And you might be nervous, I guess. No, I don't really get nervous as a player. I get a little more like anxious, I guess.
Sure.
But not nervous. But yeah, watching Megan like kick a penalty kick.
Nerve-wracking.
I'm really nervous. Because I'm like, that looks really hard. I hope she does well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a lot more nervous, but simultaneously like very confident in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like so when they won, I was like,
they had a bit of a swagger.
Chill. Yeah, totally. Are you kidding? Have you met them?
Yeah. They had a bit of a swagger.
They're
to say
full
the
of
least.
it.
Yeah.
Full of swag.
Yeah. Who gets more sleep, you or
Megan?
Oh, really?
She's like a beast. Yeah.
Good sleeper.
Really, I fall asleep faster. She gets more.
And how many hours are we talking?
She can go. I think I wake her up, sadly, for her.
Yeah.
She can go. If she's like on the road, so she's by herself, I'll like wake up and I'll be like, good morning, text, and then it'll be like 2 hours later. It's like, I don't know, 11 where she is maybe, or 12 where she is. Let's say she's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is this bee? And then all of a sudden I know she's like, oh my God, I slept 11 hours. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, this is why you need the team page on Whoop.
Yeah, no, it might make me feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she sleeps. She sleeps.
Now, you mentioned texting.
Mm-hmm.
For you, I mean, you've been playing at a really high level forever, but like the whole cell phone, social media thing has changed a lot, right?
Totally.
How's that affected you? How do you think about it?
I mean, I'm definitely addicted to my phone.
Although I would expect you to have a more thoughtful addiction to your phone.
I don't know.
Than your average like 22-year-old in the.
I don't know. I'm around 22-year-olds.
I know.
So the one thing I will say is the thing I noticed the most about this generation with their phone, or this like up and coming generation, and I know it's like sidebar note to listener. I know I talk like I'm like 50. I know I'm still like fairly young. It's just in my world.
Yeah.
I'm always talked about as being old. I've like taken on this lingo. But anyways, being at dinner with a group of 23, 24, 25-year-olds, the lost art of conversation. I mean, these kids like do not know how to have a conversation. They don't know how to like throw it back, You'll be like, "Oh, hey, so where are you from?" And they'll be like, I'm from Michigan." You're like, throw it back, like ask me, or let's keep this going. They like don't know how to, it's so bizarre. They're all going to kill me if they hear this, but it's so bizarre. It's like really hard to find, but they so easily can be on their phone, and they keep their phone at dinner. It's constantly out, which I'm guilty of that at times too. But for the most part at dinner, I can put that thing away.
Yeah.
The other thing they do that like blows my mind is the amount of FaceTiming. They'll just like FaceTime to be like, what's up? I literally tell them, I'm like, unless you're in jail, do not FaceTime me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not answering. I don't want to just like see your face and say hi.
Huh.
But they will. They'll just FaceTime.
And you think that's somewhat generational?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, they grew up with these phones, and I mean, now I'm really sounding like an old person.
Yeah,
but
right.
I get it. On some level, I get it. It's like what they know. But I'm like, the part of like lack of conversation is tough.
Do you think any of it's they're intimidated by you?
No. I don't.
You kind of, at this point.
I'm like, I never even thought of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know me. I've been with them now for like years.
But you're like the star too.
Nah.
You don't think it's a thing?
No, I don't. I
cell
really
phones.
don't.
Now, are you looking at your cell phone up to the second you fall asleep, up first thing in the morning, all these things?
Definitely first thing in the morning.
Do you change your usage at all? Like, okay, it's the day of the NBA finals, or it's WNBA finals.
Yeah.
Like,
no. So yeah, during the playoffs, what I ended up doing was taking all my social media apps and like putting them in a folder and putting it on like the back page.
So you
it just made
try
it
to
like,
avoid it.
Yeah, it just made it harder to get to it. And this way I found instantly I was not checking it as much because like, oh, I got to swipe so much.
It's funny. There's all these little hacks to things like that. Just putting apps in different locations on your phone.
Yeah.
Turning off notifications changed my
I don't
phone
have my
usage.
notifications on for social media. For text messaging and all that, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But for social media,
I
no
turn them off for
notifications.
everything except messaging and phone calls.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it on for anything.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Nordstrom
But by the
sale,
way,
but-
you and I are totally Nordstrom sale, I like that. You and I are totally in the minority on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, people are getting notifications left and right.
Oh, no. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. I'm also like, again, add this to the Sue Sounds Crazy list. When there's like a notification or like, what is it called? It's like if you have messages and it says like 2, that little bubble thing, get rid of those immediately. I cannot have any on my thing. It drives me nuts.
Well, that's in part why you turn off notifications because then
I
you
don't
don't get those little bubbles.
Yeah.
I get anxiety sometimes looking at friends' phones and it's just like all these little bubbles across the screen.
Yeah, it's like 3,000 emails. I'm like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
This is my sister. I was like, you have 2,552 unread messages. I don't get it.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I got to save them for later. I also don't have a job that requires the whole like need to read my email thing. So that's partially why. I don't even have notifications for my email.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I don't need to.
Yeah.
I can like check it when I check it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else from a recovery performance standpoint have we not covered?
I mean, I've tried.
Like, what are some things you've tried that
like
didn't
I've tried
work
float
for you
tanks.
and didn't do much?
Yeah, I only did it like twice, so maybe I didn't give it like enough of a college
we'll give that
try.
a soft pass.
Yeah.
What about
a cryo? I do cryo.
You like cryo?
Yeah, I do. And
know,
I'm not an icer. I don't ice.
My thing with cryo is it definitely like I see a positive result in my Whoop data when I do it, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I think the business model around it's kind of flawed. Now you probably don't have an issue with this, and that everywhere you go has cryo. But like for the rest of us, normal folks, it's just like it's a weird experience going to this thing, paying like $200 for 3 minutes, and
$200
or whatever it is, $150.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, where I go.
Yeah.
I need to move to Seattle.
Yeah, maybe this is a Boston price or New York price. Because I think it should be some kind of a subscription where you can just go as much as you want.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pay for a month and it's unlimited.
Yeah, so that's different than what I'm
interesting.
experiencing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to pay for that either. Oh, no, you have to be cost effective with all of this stuff.
Well, yeah,
it has to be worth
but I
it,
also
too.
think you have to build a routine into it. Like your point about float tanks, you only did it twice. It's kind of hard to know, right?
Totally.
Whereas with cryo, if you can actually, and again, I look at this through Whoop sometimes, but if you can look at, okay, here's a month of me not doing cryo, and then here's a month where I do it between 3 and 5 times a week or something, then all of a sudden you've got a comparable data set and you can make some kind of an informed decision.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do cryo enough to know that, and we're talking like once a week. It's not crazy. Enough to know that like I think there's something there, so I'm gonna keep doing it. The minute I feel like something's not working, I'm out.
Will you just do it at random
Yeah,
days?
like I said, my strength coach will like put it in a schedule. I'm trying to think. Oh, infrared saunas. I'll hit up every now and then. It's actually at the same place as the cryo tank, so that's easy. That's like they say it's good for people with arthritis. Like I said, I keep calling her a strength coach. She's actually like more like sports performance. Her dad uses it because he's older, obviously. He's a dad, and he has crazy arthritis. So she's like, and he loves it. I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. So it's nice to be warm. Feels good in there. What else have I done? I'm like, literally, I've tried everything.
And supplements and stuff. Sounds like you got the...
Yeah, actually. So one interesting one that I noticed as it pertains to Whoop, you reminded me when you were talking about the cryo tank, was I use this product called Resync, and it's essentially like a recovery powder.
Okay.
So you could look up to see what's in it.
Sure.
It's like buried.
We'll include it in the show notes.
So boom, I drink it. When I drink it before, it can be used like post-workout, but I found that I just do it like right before I go to sleep. And I find that my sleep numbers are way better when I'm using it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's just, all it is like a anti-inflammatory, like, or, something.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah. And I sleep so much better. Or like, it's not even, I don't even know that I'm getting more hours per se. It's like the sleep is better. Oh yeah, I noticed immediately. I was like, oh my God, my numbers are way better when I do this.
Oh, interesting. What are some other things where you've seen better numbers?
Better numbers?
Worse numbers?
I'm like, I know when I see the worst numbers.
Like alcohol?
Alcohol. Holy moly. I'm
sure Megan winning had no effect on your recovery.
Yeah, right? Exactly. No, 0. All those times we win championships, take the Whoop off.
Yeah,
no, I think, you know what I found with the Whoop more than anything? Like, it's kind of like you probably know what's bad and what's good, and alcohol is the best example of this. It's like you're not sleeping great and you're waking up feeling like crap. To see numbers, it just like validates that. And so I think for me personally, seeing the number, now I'm like a little more reluctant. I'm like, or I should say I'm more thoughtful around the times I'm going to quote let loose or like have some drinks and like
It
kick
makes you be very focused about when
Totally.
you're doing it and why you're doing it.
Totally. Like I was just before we came on the podcast telling you it was my friend's 40th, and simultaneously to that, it was just like a weekend of fun at a friend's house where almost like a reunion of sorts. And I literally said to myself, I'm going all out. I'm not going to think about food. I'm not thinking about alcohol. I'm doing whatever.
Enjoy yourself.
Flip cup, Beirut, you name it. And then when I get back to Seattle on Monday, which is where we are right now, it's go time. So I don't plan on like drinking. I plan on getting back on my nutrition tip for like the next I'm going to start slow with like 2 weeks, right? Like my workout world. Like today's going to be a hard day. So it means I'm coming off pick and rolls and I'm doing a lot of jump stops and I'm cutting, like all this I'm doing sprints and there's all kinds of running and cutting and, and shot making, but also just like a lot of movement.
A lot of movement.
Yeah. And that would be like considered hard for me because of my knee, right? Like I'm doing all this movements. I can do a workout like that and get, X amount of strain.
What does it look like typically in strain terms?
I don't know. I do multiple workouts. Sometimes it's like I don't know.
So you don't know.
Maybe like 13, 14.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. I could look it up right now. But then I could turn around the next day and it be considered an easier basketball day for me. Not literally the next day. I just mean like another day. Like, hey, today is just going to be, and we call it volume shooting. You're just going to go out there. I want you to make, from 5 or 6, 7 spots on the court, make 10 twos, then go and make 10 threes. Or maybe I'm doing something where it's like, all right, you have to make 8 out of 10 from a spot before you can move on. All stationary. My strain will be higher. And that's when I was like, wait, what? And I realized, or that was the first time it was really put in front of me that like your heart rate, like from a cardio standpoint, that can get your strain up, but like actual stress. So if I'm doing a shooting drill and I have to make 8 out of 10 and I can't get it, it's going to stress me out, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's when your strain can also increase.
It also makes you realize probably the stress of a game.
Yeah, that too. And that's actually the one thing I've never done. We're technically not allowed to wear the whoop during games. Some girls like tape it up.
Yeah.
But I don't like stuff on my wrists.
Have you ever tried the arm sleeve?
No, I've never tried it, but we wouldn't be able to wear that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
like a sleeve, you mean? Like the sleeve.
Yeah,
no,
sleeve.
yeah, I can't wear it. It would bug me.
It would bug you.
Yeah. So the one thing I don't have is my game data, but
game data would be interesting.
I know. I already know what it would be. It'd be strained out.
Yeah,
I'd be stressed out. Yeah, but that really blew my mind. I was like, I don't get it. Like I literally just stood there and shot. But because it was
because you're focused and you're animated and you want to make shots.
Yeah, and I'm like getting mad and totally.
It's funny. We've worked with some athletes that talked about how blown away they were by the strain of interacting with fans.
Yeah.
Because you got all these people screaming. It tends to be younger athletes too that aren't used to it. You're probably like totally used to it.
Yeah.
But they're screaming at you, and you want to make sure you sign everything, and there's cameras.
That makes all sense.
Yeah. And if you do that for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, your body actually may have a response.
I had to babysit my nieces.
Oh, there you go.
That was like I had to cook them dinner. I had to like entertain them. At the end of it, I pick up my phone. It was like, your whoop has detective activity. I was like, what? But it was stressful because I was like, don't touch that. Watch that pot. It's hot. Like, don't touch the oven. Don't go near it.
We get requests to add a bunch of different activities, like some being like chores
babysitting.
or
babysitting. That's funny. Yeah. Usually I just go, if I don't know what to call it, I'm like functional fitness.
Yeah, there you go.
Or other, obviously, but
yeah. Well, new activities coming for those listening.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now, you said on a summit, athletes who don't embrace data are idiots. Expand upon that.
I just think it's more about kind of the whole old dog, new tricks thing. I just think if you're maybe not the best word, if you're an athlete who is like getting older in their field, if you're not open, and data being one of those things, if you're not open to all the new, just knowledge available to you, like, what are you doing?
Totally.
Like, are you still having pasta parties before you're like, that was like the big thing. When my soccer team in high school, we have these like pasta, like carb loading pasta parties.
Right,
it's like, are you still doing what you were doing? And like, for me, it'd be like in 1995. No, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Like what? So I just think for people that are opposed to it, I really do. I respect finding what works for you and wanting to stick with that. But I think like some of this is just about, I don't know, you got to let go and kind of open, again, we talked about like open your mind to these new things because it could actually help you, like dramatically help you. And that's what's so great about having older athletes playing nowadays, because I think people start to like follow suit. I already see it in my sport.
Yeah.
People coming up to me and asking me like, well, what have you been doing?
Yeah, totally.
And now they're like getting on the same, getting on board, same train.
I would totally be a sponge around you trying to absorb all of it. Now, who are athletes that you look up to or you've done this with?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if I had like $1 million to blow, I'd be doing exactly what LeBron's doing.
Yeah.
Like exactly. Whatever I would follow it. Same with like Tom Brady. There's a reason. It's not part of it. We said part of it is like genetics. Some things you just can't counteract, right?
Sure.
But I don't know. Some of it is also being smart and taking care of things. So those
and
are
sacrifice,
two that come to mind.
right? Like I think that those two guys in particular, the headline is they spend millions of dollars on their body, but the behind the scenes is how much work it requires to recover like that for that long a period of time.
Yeah.
Like we've done a fair amount of work with LeBron and his trainer Mike Macias, and it's amazing how dedicated they are to recovery.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, my only, not argument to that, it's not an argument. What the money part does is make it easier.
Totally.
It just makes it a little more easier to be disciplined. Because like if I could have a cryo tank and an infrared sauna and, a stretcher, like literally
And a
someone to
massage
stretch me and a
therapist
massage,
live with you.
living with me,
Yeah.
that would be like, recovery would be easy.
Yeah.
So there's elements to it. Again, not to like poo-poo on them because obviously they're incredibly disciplined.
No.
But it's like finding it for other athletes who maybe make a little bit less. It can be a little more difficult.
And what's next for you? Like, right now, are you just focused on the next championship? Are you thinking further out?
I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to take it like on this. I've been saying probably for the last 4 or 5 years that I'm on these like 1-year plans. It's like, ask me in a year. So right now, the 1-year plan consists of getting healthy. Just had surgery a couple months ago.
And it went well?
Yeah, it went well. Yeah, it was
You
tricky
look
though.
nimble, by the way.
Nimble?
You were bouncing in here. You're back.
I'm back. Oh, man, it's a good sign. It's better than the opposite. That's funny. Probably just because I had coffee.
Coffee nap or coffee?
Just coffee.
Okay.
I came from PT.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so, the surgery. So it was weird because I didn't like hurt myself. I didn't like tear something or break something, or I had this like, for lack of a better, it was just like a growth that was the doctor's guess, like maybe a piece of cartilage, broke off and it kind of lodged itself, and it just got, your body does weird stuff.
Yeah.
And it just got layered with bone, layered.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and I could feel it when it was in there, and I had it for like 6-7 years or so. And it just got to a point where it got too big and they had to take it out. So what was weird about it is like, usually if you tear something and there's kind of like this protocol, this was because that thing had been in there so long, it kind of like jacked some other areas of my knee up.
Interesting.
Not jacked up, meaning like made them act differently, right? They weren't working the way they were supposed to. It worked with that thing in there.
Body's a fascinating thing.
Oh my God, it's beyond.
Yeah.
It knew how to work with that thing in there, but it didn't know how to work without it. So this rehab was interesting because it was about getting all these things to like wake up again and be alive, and that caused some like, aches at times, and so it was interesting. But I like I said, turned the corner. I'm here. So the year plan is to get ready for next year's WNBA season, get ready for the Olympics, hopefully. And
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, and our national team is actually gonna tour around this off season.
Oh, cool.
Off season meaning like fall, winter, spring, and play some. We're gonna do a college tour against some college teams.
Oh, that'll be interesting, right?
Yeah, it starts November 2nd. So we'll play Stanford, we'll play Oregon
That's
State,
cool.
Texas A&M, UConn, Louisville, all these teams. So we'll be bouncing around the country, getting momentum or building momentum for women's basketball for the Olympics.
Do you think you're gonna kill those teams, or will it actually be like?
So we should, on paper, we should. But what's interesting is we literally meet for the first time on October 31st. And the game is November 2nd. So it's like...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's, you're...
Right. So we're kind of using these games as practice for us because, aside from just building momentum towards the Olympics, we want to train together. So we'll get some practice time. We'll play these games, and we'll just see how it goes.
Unfortunately, it'll only be a headline probably
if we lose.
If it's a little bit
we're all aware of
sketchy.
that.
Yeah.
And college players, man, they really like to play hard. That's all they got.
But you know what?
So it's
That's a
gonna
fun format to play around with, right? Because I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Like that's I think things like that are good in sports.
Yeah. My biggest thing, what I really want, I don't even know if I should say this publicly, but whatever. I want to play against the celebrities in the celebrity game at NBA All-Star Weekend.
Oh, I would love that.
I think that's what needs to happen.
So the celebrities, who's on that team? That's
it varies. So last year,
by the way, we saw each other at All-Star.
At All-Star, yeah.
You were coaching
I was
the
coaching
team.
it. Yeah, that's when I got the idea.
So you want to have the women's national team.
The women's national team.
Play like...
We're playing...
what was it?
Ronnie 2K.
Yeah.
If you hear
like
me.
Justin Bieber.
Now, he was in it a couple years ago. So like last year, it was like... Ronnie 2K was actually on my team.
Okay.
Yeah, it was such an interesting experience, by the way. Like, some people were just like really entirely too serious.
Yeah.
And other people... actually, it was just that was the interesting part. People were like super serious about it.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other podcast.
Now, was that what Jay Williams played in?
Yeah, he played. Ray Allen played.
Those guys looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
They
did
look like they still got it.
Yeah, they did look good.
So
I don't even remember.
Would you be able... So are you saying those two types of guys would be on the team?
Well, are they celebrities or are they former NBA players?
I'm asking you. This is your game. You're creating it.
Yeah, I think the celebrity part is really... Because, like, listen, I'm sitting
But
here...
I think you're going to kill a bunch of celebrities.
Well, that's kind of... Like, that's why it would be fun.
Well...
Whether we kill them or not, I just think this is the idea.
So in terms of pure entertainment...
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be entertaining. I think right away off the bat where you like, oh, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I was definitely intrigued.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'd tune into that.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I'm not sitting here saying that we would beat Ray Allen. Like, he's a former NBA player. Like, right. Yeah, I'm not. A lot of people think that women's basketball players, especially when we talk about like money and equal pay and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They think that we're saying that we're like better than the NBA, better than the men, and that's why, or we're equal to. So equal to me is not always like the same. Like, no, we're not the same as them, but we should be treated equally. That's kind of the vibe. With that, no, I don't think I could go beat Ray Allen. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I think a team of celebrities, because a lot of the flack that we get, like, interestingly enough, NBA players aren't the ones that are, in the streets talking trash about us. It's kind of like your average everyday Joe, which some of these celebrities on the basketball court are. So I think it'd be fun. And
I
we'd see
think
who'd be
that's
up for the
intriguing.
challenge.
I like that.
We'll see. I doubt it'll happen, but a girl can dream.
Yeah. I've always thought that in the NFL, they should have the worst, and they'll never do this.
Yeah.
They should have the worst team, like the team that finishes like 1-15, should play the best college team.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be super entertaining?
That would be. It'd be interesting.
I have to say, I was watching a bunch of highlights of you in WNBA, and I like the ball.
You do?
Yeah, because you know what it does is it shows you the axis that the ball is spinning on, and it makes, I mean, you guys already have beautiful shots, but it makes the swish look like so much cooler because of the way it's, because you can't.
No, it's highlighted because it's different colors, right?
Yeah, you can't tell the way the ball's rotating, and certain shots actually have different angles on it, and different people have different spin on it.
Oh, different
like you've got a real nice
have.
spin profile, I realize.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The oatmeal and orange. That's the color of our ball.
Yeah.
Oatmeal and orange.
Well, this has been so much fun. For people listening, where can they find you, and where am I at? Well, I play for the Seattle Storm. Wait, what do you mean find me? Like on social media? Social media, okay. Whatever. If you want to plug a website, or some new initiative.
Like, what am I? I'm S10bird.
I think everyone knows who
on
you play
Twitter. For. Yeah, maybe not. And I'm sbird10 on Instagram. So that's usually Instagram's probably where I'm most active. Twitter, I'm on every now and then. Those are my two. I don't do anything else.
By the way, I think it's cool the way that NBA players seem to be rooting for the WNBA.
Yeah, they're. I think if I had to like sum it up in like one sentence or paragraph or less, I think it's NBA players can appreciate good basketball and they're not threatened by us. And I think,
that's probably a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I think there's like this. I don't know. Dudes, no offense to anyone listening or anyone in the room, dudes like to size people up. It's just like, I think, part of their nature. And so they see a women's basketball player and they're like, I could take her.
Yeah, right.
And that's what like your average guy does for whatever. I keep saying average. I don't mean to like put anybody down, but that's just kind of like what, a guy who maybe played in high school does. Whereas like LeBron James or, all the dudes that follow us, like Kobe Bryant's into it, LeBron. I mean, really a laundry list of guys. They don't size us up. They can just see a basketball player and appreciate it for what it is.
They also seem to just genuinely love basketball.
Yeah.
Like genuinely enjoy watching it
right.
at all levels.
I mean, there's that as well.
Yeah. But I think it's cool that there seems to be kind of a genuine respect for one another.
Yeah, there is.
Have you spent a fair amount of time with NBA players or
Yeah.
less so?
Most of that time being at Olympics. So when we're at the Olympics, we stay together.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're around each other a lot. So then you get to know people and then you kind of create friendships that can, go beyond the Olympics. That's kind of how it's gone for me.
Is the Olympics like the coolest thing ever to compete
pretty
in?
dope.
Or
It's pretty
how does that
insane.
compare to all the other things you've won?
Yeah, so it's different in that. So this is the story I like to tell that kind of like hits it home.
Sure.
So what makes it different is not necessarily, and this is from a women's basketball standpoint, like because we have a league, because a lot of us play overseas, the competition, and because U.S. has been so dominant, it's not just this like competitive tournament, and because we won, that's what makes the Olympics great because we're the best country. Actually, it's our lack of training time that makes the competition difficult. And yeah, when we get to the semis and the finals, the semis and the finals is always tough. But like the early rounds, I mean, listen, you could go look up scores. That we kind of take care of business.
Yeah.
But what makes the Olympics different is, and again, I'll tell this through a story. So it was my first Olympics, 2004. We won a gold medal, and
Congratulations.
thank you very much. And we actually charter back to America, and then we kind of all get to one city, and then from that city, I had to fly home. So I was flying from like wherever, New York.
Sure.
I was flying from New York to Seattle. So I'm on this flight, I'm in my seat, and like obviously I'm not checking the gold medal, so it's in my carry-on. And at some point, one of the flight attendants comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, are you Sue Bird?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do you have your gold medal with you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, the pilots would really like to see it." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." The minute I took it out of my bag, it went from the cockpit with the pilots, like down the plane and back. Like everybody wanted to see this gold medal.
Yeah.
And that's when it really hit me. Like I already knew I was representing my country, but I was 23. It was new.
Yeah.
Like I got what the Olympics meant because, to be honest, growing up, there was no WNBA. So for me, the Olympics was like the end all be all. And that's when I wanted to be.
So you did have that feeling
Oh,
that
yeah.
we had been describing, that
100%.
12-hour, 24-hour feeling of euphoria.
Oh, no, yeah, 100%. Every
Okay.
Olympics I've had that.
Okay.
But I didn't like fully appreciate and understand what it meant to like represent your country until I was on that plane and everybody was going like ape over this gold medal, like rightfully so. And I was like, whoa. Because when you're a member of the Seattle Storm, Seattle pulls for you. But when you go to LA, they don't like you.
Right.
And when you're a member of the UConn, Huskies, yeah, everyone at UConn loves you and anyone who ever went to UConn loves you.
Everyone
but
else hates you.
Tennessee hates you. Duke hates you, you know?
Yeah.
But here I was, like every American was cheering for us. And that was like mind blowing.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
In terms of some quick hits here,
Sure.
what are your travel tips for people? How do you fight travel, jet lag?
I find that the minute you land, it's really beneficial to work out. It's really
Exercise.
Yeah, something. It doesn't have to be
And by the way, it
crazy.
can be really light.
Really light. Do something.
Do you drink a lot of water or not so much?
I mean, no, not like I know
On the
I'm
spectrum of people who drink water.
I'm on the lower end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drink water,
Sure.
but I'm not like counting. I don't carry around a jug or anything like that.
What are some of your influences or people that you read or listen to?
Like in terms of sports and stuff.
It could be anything.
I don't know.
What's the last book that you read that you liked?
I'm more of a fiction
Hit me.
reader. I'm currently reading The Wife.
Okay.
I actually read a book called The Wife.
I don't know if I have a follow-up question to that.
No, you don't. I actually read a book called The Wife, which was good. And then I realized, so I was on a plane and I saw this movie, The Wife, and it's like Glenn Close is in it. I think it's Glenn Close. Yeah, Glenn Close is in it. And I was like, oh, I want to watch this. And then it was like, oh, based on a book. And I was like, whoa, I need to read the book first. Because I heard the movie was good, but I didn't realize.
So you're a person who, if you hear a movie's based on a book,
I need to read the book first. Yeah, I will never read the book if I watch the movie. It just won't happen.
I did that recently with Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Like right
That's
when
a
the
better
movie
book.
was about to come out, I was like, oh, I should read the book first.
Yeah,
And I
and it was a
finished
better
it
book.
about an hour before I went to the theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's a
by the
better
way, it's a
book.
better book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Okay.
I went and bought what I thought was The Wife. And then as it turns out, there's 2 books called The Wife. So I read the first one, which was actually like, wait, maybe by the person, it was either by the same author as Gone Girl or like similar to Gone Girl in the
Yeah,
description.
right.
Something. It was kind of like a little, weird like that. But it was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. I liked it. Now I'm actually reading The Wife I intended to read from the start.
So you've doubled down on that.
Yeah, which is the movie. So I just started that. I'm like 3 or 4 chapters in.
What's been the most relaxing vacation you've ever been on?
I'm such a beach person. Like I said,
Need sun.
I need sun. I like crave it. So I've actually had my most relaxing vacations. I've gone to Turks and Caicos a bunch of times, and
Nice.
it's just a very chill island. But I actually went to Cabo last year. Last year. And it was very chill as well. Now, Cabo has a whole downtown situation if you're trying to do that. But for me, I just kind of like,
Relax.
yeah, relaxed. But yeah, anything like beach or sun, that relaxes me.
What's the lowest recovery you've ever had on Whoop?
Oh, God, like 2%.
And what happened?
I was drinking all night.
Yeah. Big night out.
Big night out. Huge night out.
You probably had a green the day before. You won something.
Yeah.
And then you had a 2%.
Yeah. That alcohol, man, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Well, Sue, it's been awesome spending time with you. Thank you for coming on the podcast, and thanks for being on Whoop.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Sue for coming on the podcast, and good luck to her as she prepares for next season and the 2020 Olympics. If you're not already a Whoop member, you can join our community for as low as $30 to begin. We provide you with 24/7 access to your biometric data, as well as analytics across strain, sleep, recovery, heart rate variability, and more. The membership comes with a free Whoop Strap 3.0. We offer 6, 12, and 18-month memberships. The more you sign up for, the more you save. If you enter the code WILLAHMED at checkout, that's WILLAHMED, we'll give you $30 off a membership just for listening to this podcast. For our European customers, the code is WILLAHMEDEU, and that'll give you 30 euros off when you join. For our listeners in Australia, the code WILLAHMEDAU will get you $35 Australian dollars off your membership. And for our current members, you can upgrade to the Whoop Strap 3.0 and get access to all the new Whoop Live features by following the link in your Whoop app. If you're out of contract, you'll literally get the 3.0 for free when you commit to another 6 months. Check out whoop.com/thelocker for show notes and more, including links to relevant topics from this conversation and others. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review the Whoop podcast on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find me online at Will Ahmed. I try to respond to everyone who reaches out. And you can also follow at Whoop on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can email thelocker@whoop.com with any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions you may have. Thank you again to all our listeners, to all our Whoop members. We love you.